This is Yosef Bruer for ESFI, and I'm here with IdrA Fields at the MLG Fall Championship in Dallas, Texas. Greg, how you feeling, man?
I'm okay. It wasn't a great tournament, but any tournament you don't win isn't great. I had a few good results, a few bad results, and it was nice to get back into the tournament. So it's been about been about 2 months since I played a tournament, so it's just nice to get started again.
That's good, man. Well, let's first talk out how are you feeling coming into this event after that 2-month break?
I'm feeling I'm actually playing very well right now. Having 2 months to just practice and kind of relax a bit and refocus. It's really, really nice. It's something we don't get to do very much just because the tournament schedule is so packed right now. Yeah. So I've been working on my game a lot. I feel really, really good about the way I'm playing. I think I have things figured out pretty well. And I'm very happy with the way I played at this tournament. Obviously, the results aren't there, but it's very easy to lose. You know, sometimes this stuff just happens and it's beyond your control, or it's down to luck, or you just play a really good player. So that you can't look just at that. I feel I played well, and it bodes well for tournaments in the future.
Awesome. Can you walk me through your open bracket / championship bracket performance this weekend? Just some games that caught your eye you can remember.
I was seeded into round 5. I started out playing Quantic Apocalypse, who he was on IM. He's moved to Quantic pretty recently. Started playing on NA. I think he's living in the Quantic house. A pretty good Terran player. He plays with their ace sometimes. I beat him pretty easily. I feel very comfortable versus Terran right now. It's my best matchup, I think. Those games weren't really particularly hard at all. Same versus VVV Glon. I'm not actually sure how I got that far in the bracket, honestly. They were pretty easy games. And then I went into groups. I played SDC first. The first game on Metropolis was actually probably the most disappointing thing of the tournament for me by far. I defended everything really well. I got into really good shape. I had a massive economy. Got to Broodlord and Fester Corruptor with good upgrades. Basically exactly the situation you want to be in ZVT. And I won a few big battles in the middle, like incredibly efficient. It was pretty much an unlosable situation if I was just patient enough. I tried to shove and kill him just because I thought I literally couldn't lose. And he did exactly the right thing. He ran around with Marauders killing off hatcheries, and he just kind of tried to absorb my attack. And he had a bigger bank than I thought, so he was able to whittle it down eventually. And I ended up losing that way. We both had 0 income at the end. It would have been an elimination race. I had no units left. Really should not have lost that. In the second game, I beat him pretty easily. Ling timing, killed a lot of SCVs, and then finished him off with Broodlords. And then the third game was kind of silly. He's on Entomb Valley. I know his style. I know he likes the 14cc or 2 racks, and those are the 2 best builds on there, so I went with 10 pool. But he actually did like this weird defensive 2 racks. So he was able to defend the 10 pool without any damage, and then he did a Marine SCV all in right before my hatchery finished, so I can have a Spine Crawler up. And it's kind of a build order loss. So I took a risk there, and it didn't pan out. So that was a really disappointing way to lose. Then after that, I beat Grubby pretty easily. It feels good. He's a really good player. Gets lots of hype in the scene. Does really well in European tournaments, so it's nice to beat him. But then, unfortunately, to beat Grubby and then lose to Baby Knight, kind of perplexing. He just played really silly, and I messed up quite a bit. It was a bad series. And then there, I lost to Soulkey. They were weird games, but he's a really good player, so it's kind of mixed feelings. He's really good. There's no shame in losing to him. But they were really weird games, and I felt like they could have gone better. It was just fast CVZs, like Baneling timings, and got a bunch of meters caught by a fungal.
Well, I think it's fair to say that you've improved your results from earlier this year. What are you changing in particular? Is it your style, or is it mostly mental coming into these events that's making you do a little bit better each time you're coming out?
It's not really mental. I'm still kind of an angry asshole. Like that doesn't change too much. I've tried. It's pretty ingrained in me. Mostly it's just I've had a little bit more time. I've focused more on practicing. I've tried not to travel so much, and I've actually just had the time to practice and catch up on the meta game. I'm watching players play a lot. I watch pretty much every GSL VOD of a Zerg winning, and I've kind of, I don't want to say I've given up on figuring it out on my own, but I'm much more willing to accept learning things from other players. And then just practicing, actually having time to practice and be clean mechanically.
How do you feel about your team's performance overall at this event?
We didn't have Puma here, which is pretty unfortunate. He's always one of our best performers. Stefano as well. He was off representing us in ESWC in France. JYP, he's been in really good form. He had, I think, his deepest GSL run ever last season. I think he got to round 8 or round 16. But he had a pretty disappointing tournament. He got knocked out maybe even before the championship bracket. Me and Chris lost both in round 2 losers. Suppy made it 1 or 2 more. Everyone else, Ben's performance, I'd say, was pretty disappointing. He's dealing with some other stuff right now, so just bad timing for him. Marcus, pretty much all of us, I'd say it was decent but not good, not satisfied at all.
Okay. Well, I just want to bring up something that happened a few weeks ago on ITG, but I just wanted to make clear and understand what you think of the state of StarCraft right now and the future of it?
I think Destiny is correct in that Blizzard should be making the game more accessible to casuals in a fun way, like allowing them to play UMSs, allowing them to have a social interaction, social experience through Battle.net. That's a big part of online gaming. It's a very social thing. That's why everyone loves it. Like, just look at WoW. That's not a competitive thing. That's not even a particularly challenging thing in a lot of ways, but it's just a way to interact with people in a fun way, in a different environment. So it's really important for Blizzard to do that. It's really important for them to also make it a good competitive game for us pro gamers, to make it something that can be an actual esport, a legitimate competition. The problem is when he says that everything is going to die if Blizzard does not do that, because for 2 years they've been slowly plodding along, kind of making changes, but not really fixing the problems that are very important. And we've still been just fine. Like, tournaments are still putting on a good show. Tournaments are constantly getting better. Players are getting better. Players are getting more entertaining. The community is still there. We have a very strong community. They watch the games. They watch our streams. Just hours and hours and hours of content every week, and they take it all in. So if we just focus on that, keep focusing on doing what we're doing, except doing it better, then we're going to be fine. Like, Blizzard is not the be-all, end-all. They are the easiest way to make things better, but they are not doing that, and that's the way things have been, and we've been just fine with that.
Okay. Well, I have a quote here from the Good Studio last week about what Destiny had came on and said. This is just part of what he said, and I just want to get your opinion on this statement in general. He said, quote, I'm really not sorry for anything I said, because literally for two of some of the most worst semi-professional players in NA to make fun of anybody for playing the game, I would never say sorry for that. Do you have any comments or anything you want to say about that statement?
So he's calling us
Speaking
the
of
worst.
you and In Control.
Well, I mean, that's just silly. Obviously, Jeff hasn't had the best performances, and he's not satisfied with that. But he also does all this casting and all this other stuff that builds the community up a hell of a lot more than anything that Destiny does. Destiny just kind of tears it down and tries to create drama because that's what he feeds off of. So that's pretty hypocritical and just fucking rude out of him. And then for me, like, just look at my performances. I haven't been as good as I have been, but that's because I was an international tournament winner, and it's hard to maintain that performance. The level of competition has stepped up. I've had other stuff going on, and I just haven't been as good. But I'm still one of the highest placing Americans in every tournament, if not the only American who actually makes it into any kind of legitimate competition. I've still win pretty much any kind of, not win, but I'm a contender for any North American, any American tournament. Like, he's just an idiot.
All right, just want to get your opinion on that. So what's going on for you after this event? What's in the works after this?
Next up in a couple of weekends is WCS Grand Finals in China. Really excited to go to that. Probably, well, it depends on, I believe they outsource it to a Chinese production company. So depending on what they do with it, depending on the stream views, the hype people get going into a tournament that has a lot of Asian players, a lot of NA players. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how big it is, but it definitely has the potential to be pretty much the biggest event of the year. So that's really, really exciting. A lot of great players, and it is Blizzard's tournament. As much as I may talk about Blizzard, they are still the people who made the game. They're kind of the big wigs. So that's really, really exciting to be a part of. And then a week or two, I'm not exactly sure when.
I think it's a week after.
A week or two later, I just qualified for IEM Singapore to represent NA, so I get to go play that immediately after. Maybe staying in Korea between, just because 2 tournaments in Asia, no reason to really bounce back and forth for 2 weekends. So looking forward to that.
All right, so how do you plan on preparing for that event? You're just going to stay in at a Korean team house where you're going to stay at?
I'm not sure just yet. I'll leave that up to EG to figure out.
All right, nice. Well, thanks, man, for any of you, as always. Did you want to have any final words or get any shout-outs?
Yeah, sure. Follow me on Twitter at IdrAjit, IdrAjit. My stream, twitch.tv/EG_IdrA. Also, a big thanks to Team EG, all our sponsors, Intel, Monster, SteelSeries, Kings, Hybrix, Beyond Gaming, and Sapphire. And thank you all for watching.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.